I'm Shane Jenkins with Stand in the Gap Foundation. I'm honored to be here with the Krills, my friends from New Jersey. And I just wanted to talk to you guys about, I kind of want to hear just if you guys could just share briefly your Jan 6 experience, like what kind of, if you want, however it went to what, how much time you got and all that, if you want to kind of just share.
Yeah, I mean, like probably the week before J6, I started really seeing a lot of people, talking about the Stop the Steal rally. And I made a post, on TikTok that like, see you tomorrow.
Just spur of the moment.
My aunt called me and was trying to dissuade me. And, my history, and spent time in prison previously,
Right.
and had, kind of rebuilt my life and stayed,
Me too.
stayed out of prison. I hadn't been in trouble since 2009, and they were very scared that, I was
Right.
going to put everything at risk.
Right.
And I felt like, if not me, then who's going to stand up?
If there was something to risk it for, this was me.
This is it, you know what I mean? Because I want to preserve what I grew up in for my kids and grandkids. And if it was going to come down to a fight,
Right.
And I didn't think I would be fighting the Capitol Police. I was expecting counter protesters because that is who showed up to all the other Stop the Steal.
Right. Well, who stabbed one of the probably like that month before. And I
Yeah.
think they're the ones that somebody came out and said, "Hey, protect yourselves. Bring,
Yeah.
don't bring guns because you can't have guns, but
Yeah.
knives, pepper spray." That's why a lot of people flag poles, whatever it was, to protect themselves from
Comments.
And,
Having been through like riot type situations in prison, this time around, I felt completely different. Like I had a peace about me because I knew that I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. You knew the election was stolen.
If we, for the first time, I felt like I was really doing the right thing,
Fair enough.
even if the optics are bad. So, and I also knew that, afterwards, all this information on TV about how you have insurrection and how violent it was and stuff, that was not the intent. Like the Capitol Police and the Metro Police are the ones that initiated this, the way things went down.
So I just want to share something to jump ahead just a little bit, then we'll jump back to where we're at. But I wanted to say you shared with me earlier that you're getting baptized on April 19th. And I just wanted to say congratulations on that and you did that. What you told me was the catalyst for that. And if you want to share that.
So, a lot of these J6 guys that I was locked up with, and I got bounced around and wanted the common thread everywhere I went. I was meeting guys that were really spiritual and keeping me from getting involved in the prison subculture.
Keeping you accountable.
Right.
Saying this is what we need to be doing now.
So, and I stayed in touch with some of them since.
Right.
And, the conversations, no matter what they're about, somehow always return to God.
Right.
And so these guys are pushing me in the right direction. My wife prayed for me, and she had me going to church prior to having to go away. And then prior to January 6th. And I was, not enthusiastic. The entire time I was away, I was getting letters from all around the country. People were praying for me and my family. Then, this Charlie Kirk thing happened. And I saw just this contrast of how we protested and how the other side protested and how many people were turning to God because of what they saw. If I needed any further nudge this past weekend, seeing this guy throw, a bomb or shouting Allah Akbar,
Right.
and then hearing immediately saying, Christ is King, Jesus saved us. Jesus made that bomb not go off. It's pretty true. Really, it's like, how many more signs do you need? Like, this is the path you're supposed to be on.
God is real.
And, and then so the next morning we were at church and we had a guest pastor, and one of the last things he said was like, you all the members of our church here, God's not done with you yet. I was feeling really defeated. I really got this renewed energy, decided that I'm going to get baptized. And this is the right path. As a recovering addict, I'm supposed to turn my will and my life over to care of God as I understand. Right? There's been so many times where I've taken my will back.
Right.
It always gets me jammed up. This is, I'm excited.
Well, I just wanted to share that because I know I've shared that I have a criminal background as well. And thank God that he salvaged my destiny, and I'm looking forward to him. He is not done with any of us yet, as long as we've got work to do in our hearts and our minds, but also he's got work for us to do as ambassadors for his kingdom here on earth. We're supposed to represent his kingdom here. So we draw other people to the light, just like other people are keeping you rooted in your faith. That's our job hey, I was where you are. let me tell you my story. Let me tell you what God did. I mean, really what my mentor would say, he's like, you don't ever look for an opportunity to share God. Like you just walk with people, right? And one day they're going to say, hey man, what's different about you? And they're like, well, you know what? This is what happened to me. And so God will present that opportunity. You don't have to, Jesus was a gentleman. He didn't force himself on anybody.
Right.
God will give you that opportunity. But I just wanted to share that with everybody. And, so you went to January 6th happened. What was your thoughts after him coming home from J6, and how long after you came back until they rounded you up?
Is that for me?
Yeah. How about after you heard what, I don't know if you heard the details or if you're like,
Yeah, well, see, when Trump won in 2016, we went to the Super Bowl for all of us. And it was amazing. It was so much fun, but I was very naive to how violent politics are. And that was my first taste of Antifa.
Oh, okay.
And I was waiting to get a double knee replacement, ended up breaking both of my legs after deplorable, but I couldn't keep up with them that night, you know, and it was a scary night. So Pete wanted me to do nothing with January 6th because he was afraid for me. So I fought him because I know how I think I overage
The balance for
the intellect over the emotion.
Somebody there that day, or I probably would have been in trouble.
I'm that girl that will jump on his back if I see something's going to go down. So I was really hurt and upset when I heard they were inside the Capitol, and I called and he was like, I'm in. And I just like, well, our life is over as we know it. But then it was almost 2 years later that they came and raided our house. So we got very complacent, kind of forgot about it. You know, I'm very spiritual. I have a great faith, and I did have a dream a month before we had ammunition in our house and other things. I woke up out of my sleep and I just said, like, I was whispering. And he was like, what do you want me to do? Like, we're sitting ducks out here. You know, we live on a big yard. And so I said, I know you're going to do whatever you want. And then, our house was raided a month later, and they wanted what he wore that day. So when I went to try to slither into where the gun case was, they like pushed the door through, and they were like, you know, wanted the code, and I don't know it. So they forced it out of him.
And they were forced it out of me. It's just like when I was sitting in the FBI headquarters and I heard that they had found guns all over. I didn't think letting him into the safe was going to be I didn't understand like the guidelines for how many firearms elevate. You named the 3 is so many, 4, 7, another 8, 23. Yeah, so so I wound up in a third tier.
Plus an ammo, there was a lot.
Yeah. So, you know, once again, like, and this is kind of on the funny side, like my lawyer was very liberal. I told her, I said, you know, I'm being charged with 922G felon possession. And I said, I've been living right the last 15 years. I don't identify as a felon. You know, she was so upset.
She was pissed off.
She did not. I was like, listen, this could be a legitimate defense because if
everybody else is doing it,
if you can't define other words, why can't I?
Can you define felon?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but then I got 46 months. Long story short. They also wanted to give me 5 years for destroying my cell phone because I put my cell phone in the microwave when it came. And I argued, like, you know, Hillary destroyed 11 phones under a subpoena. You said that no reasonable prosecutor would pursue this. So why are you trying to seek 5 years against me? Just like, you know, I have to say that, like, you know, I'm still fearful for potential down the line charges if the power changes hands. I know that there's law firms in D.C. that are already writing indictments and like trying to figure out ways that they're going to come after us again.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a concern for a lot of. I talk to Enrique Tarrio regularly, and he's like, man, I'm afraid if 2028 doesn't go our way, that they're going to come after us again.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dan Wilson got pardoned and had to get back in and get pardoned again.
Yeah. You almost think so.
Yeah. So they had me on probation for a little while. You know, meaning to know my pardon covered it.
Well, so you got arrested, you got 46 months. You took a plea offer?
9 months for civil disorder on the J6 stuff. Okay. I took 46 months for felon possession of ammunition.
Stacked them or?
Yeah, I was going to come home in February, March of 2028. I would be coming home.
Oh. Yeah, he was looking at 15 to 20 years for January 6th and 20 years for the guns. So I was really behind him taking a plea because we've both been there, done that. And
there was no way.
No, especially Especially with J6 attaching.
Even
Yeah.
just give us a little, you know, things like, you know, I asked my lawyer, I said, well, can I get a change of venue? I don't believe I can get a fair trial in DC. You know, that's you don't have a valid argument.
Right.
But since I've been home on this, I've watched immigration cases get moved to favorable courts. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's
but the citizens can stick the same. That,
so funny. I think I told this story earlier. I told them, I said, they offered me 92 to 115 months. And I told them, I said, I'd love to consider your plea offer, but I don't negotiate with terrorists. And my lawyer was like, Shane, I want to win this case for you. And I said, nobody's getting out of here alive. I said, nobody is going to win these cases. I said, I don't care if you had the best case in the world. We're in DC. You're not going to win.
I knew no strategy, no loophole. No, this was purely political prosecution.
I told him too, I said, I would rather take 10,000 years than to compromise who I am and what I believe. I believe the election was stolen.
Absolutely.
I believe we were right. Even if we went as hard as we wanted, it came on, whatever. I believe we were absolutely justified. Even though we didn't.
There should be no line you're unwilling to cross if being stolen.
Yeah, they're subverting the essence of our country. And so, I just believe that. And I refused to say that Trump sent me to do it.
Oh, yeah, no, he didn't when he left. He said, I went in, I'll admit to that. And because I was like, you're going, like, Shane, like, things were tough financially. And I was like, I can't, if you go away for 20 years, I'm like
right. Yeah, no, for sure. And that's why I wanted to have you to ask you questions too, because with me, it's just me. And then my kids, you got to ask how it affected them. But what you're going through affected her, and what she's going through is affecting you, right?
Yeah.
So,
and we both had spent time in jail. We're like, this is,
y'all are a team.
we're supposed to go all together, not go visit you
Right. Go.
in prison.
and
Again,
she beat the doors down. Every place I was, she came.
we never missed a visit.
Well, it's like any other point in time, just 9 months, I would, like, I've spent 9 months,
Right.
9 months on the toilet.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just two entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW. Making travel great again.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
I'm sure you guys remember the platinum single Justice for All with Donald Trump and the J6 Prison Choir. We'll get ready for round 2. We're coming out with Anthem of the Free with High Res and the J6 Prison Choir. It's coming out now. It's pre-sale until December 19th when it drops. Get yours on all platforms, Google Play, Apple iTunes. Get it. It's going to be hot.
Justice for all, our voices ring, the anthem of the free.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the
first time I've ever turned myself in my life. I'm sitting there and they made me wait like an hour before anybody took me back.
You're like, I should get out of
What
here.
what did I just do? Oh my God, like for real. And, you know, at the time I'm thinking, all right, it's only 9 months. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, you can be being ahead with animals for 9 months. I'm good, you know, like, and man, I wasn't. You know what I mean? I was so out of fucking place, man, because like, not only was I out of prison for so many years, I'm a different person now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm a grandfather.
So you grown all
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like I felt like I couldn't communicate. You know what I mean? Like I felt so weird, and also like, you know, bouncing around the state system. Our state system's small, so anywhere I went, I've always known somebody. You know what I mean? Like, you know, whatever county, whatever state.
Right.
But now I'm in effect, I know fucking soul. You know what I mean? Like,
There's all-
my name don't mean
Blow
nothing.
in
The
the
shit
wind.
that I did in the back in the day, ain't nobody gonna have that fucking respect. You know what I mean? Like, I'm nobody. You know what I mean? It just felt like, wow, I
So
felt
these
so
are-
small. Like United States versus Pete Krill felt real.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean? The country that you love.
a lot of people don't understand the weight that carries. The most powerful. I think it was what is the Pollocks. So Mr. Olivia and John Pollock. He says Ben. Not just call him Mr. Pollock, but yeah, he was doing an interview. We got him in up at Real America's Voice, and this reporter was interviewing him. And Mr. Pollock looked at him and he said, I don't know if you know what it's like, but bear down on your children. When he said that, I was just like, damn. It made me think about my kids, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
for him to be a father and to think about like what his babies were going through is just like phenomenal. And that's why I like to have different people's perspective. When I heard that, it shot me straight to my
We have kids in their 20s, and I'm like, I would have been so proud of them that they were like, we're going to go to a rally because we're so conservative and we really believe Trump won. I would be like, there you go. 'Cause some of these kids are being raised by conservative parents and they're going off the walls, and they're not only defying conservatism, but like purposely like
right.
becoming trans, like
Yeah.
or joining Antifa, just being wild. My kids are conservative. I didn't go, but I would have been proud of them and then been devastated.
Right. That's the thing that would worry me too, is like when they talk about they flew a helicopter over their house because they were on the run on it.
Yeah.
You know, Yeti, I'm from Jersey, so I was so scared that they were going to kill him. You know what I mean? While they were looking for him, because man, they hunted. We got illegals roaming all around freely, and you got this team out there like hunting
Helicopters
one dude
everywhere.
now. Like it was,
couldn't find
it was scary,
Uh,
but it was scary. Just like, you know, knowing that, like, man,
But he had a career in the military.
military police and
Yeah,
National Guard.
and I was like, wow.
yeah.
I could imagine being in law enforcement and
Yeah.
or being in the serving your country.
That's
Like,
what broke my
legally.
heart. Yeah, about it. That's what broke my heart of being in the DC jail with those guys. It's one thing, like I've got a criminal record, right? I broke a window with the tomahawk. I threw like 9 different things at police officers. So I understand, like, hey, keep me without bond because I've got violent crimes in my past and stuff like that. I understand that. But for these men and women who
Some of the heroes.
law enforcement, offer up life and limb in Afghanistan, Iraq, Fallujah 1 and 2, like got blown up by IEDs. And I'm talking like Marines, Green Berets, Army Rangers were off the Ranger, and then to label them domestic terrorists and then to hold them without bond. And they don't even have a criminal record. And I'm like, how are you treating these people like that? So I say all that to say, so how much time did you do on?
I did 9 months out of the 54, whatever that I wound up totaled with. So I did, but they bounced me. Like I was in Fort Dix for a month, Lewisburg for a couple weeks, and Philly for a few months, and then back to Fort Dix, and then back to Lewisburg.
Oh, you get
After I turned myself in for the civil disorder, because I started out with a 9 month sentence. So I turned myself in May 2nd, and in early June, they told me, you pack your shit, you got to court date, a superseding indictment for the guns and ammo.
Oh, yeah.
But they wouldn't tell you where you're
And they wouldn't
going
tell
and what
what
it
this
was doing.
shit. He got the real okie doke because like I had just gotten like my points and I knew my points were low enough for camp, right? So there was a dude that worked in R&D that said, I seen your name on a movement list. I think you're going to the camp. So when I got pulled down to R&D the next morning, I wasn't thinking like,
You didn't sign
no,
up,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Never been to a camp ever.
I came back and called her. Yeah.
They got his
I'm going to
basic
court
calls.
somewhere. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I got more charges.
So you did 9 and you got out.
Fine.
He would have been home in May of 2028.
March 2028.
But he, for January 6th with Good Time and stuff, as the times were going down every month, he would have been out mid-December, but because of the second round of charges,
This year, December?
no, this is right before he got pardoned.
Right before you.
But then he got the extra almost 5 years.
Oh.
So it was 2028. So when they were, getting pardoned,
I was, because what happened was, there was an officer there actually told her that I wasn't going home that day.
I bet he read that.
That's going on. So I truthfully think that initially Trump was going to listen to J.D. Vance and only pardon the nonviolent and stuff like that. And when Biden pardoned his family, I think that pardon.
They tried this whole switcheroo on Trump. I heard that day. They were like, no, we're only going to do, we're going to start rolling them out over the next 4 years. Like, what?
Yeah. But so anyway, when I came home, 2 days later, my lawyer, my federal defender, who was very liberal, called me and said I needed to report to probation. I said, wait a minute. I said, I'm pardoned. My pardon is unconditional. She said, well, it doesn't apply to your other charges. I said, if it didn't apply to other charges, they wouldn't have been in prison. And I'm sure the BOP standard is way higher. They're going to check and double check.
Right.
That, that probation. So I argued it as much as I could over the phone with probation. I went, thought they were going to be taking me back into custody. I wound up being on probation for about 3.5 months. I wrote the pardon attorney who said every probation department was issued a list of who would apply to. So I asked my PO, well, did you see the list? And he said, no. I said, how did you determine that I was on probation? He said, Joseph McFarland, who was the federal prosecutor in Camden, my local district. It wasn't my judge. It was my prosecutor.
So bringing up January 6th.
He was so happy to have a J6 in his courtroom and that he could really have him down.
Yeah. Replaying with all those guns.
Without coming to even think that I had all these guns. And guess what? They bring them to the Capitol and shoot them up.
Right.
And when the FBI came to my house, I didn't shoot them up. But, I'm a bad guy for wanting to protect my family. You know what I mean? Like, because you guys won't.
They want to come after your family.
But, so yeah, it took me till the end of April. Right after Dan turned himself in, they finally cut me loose.
Well, that was after they said you made it. Missed the psych evaluation. And then I called Alina Hamma's office and freaked out. Said, when are they going to start listening to your boss?
But, I thought they were trying to set me up for a violation because the mental health place called me and told me I missed an appointment. I'm like, I said,
they never told him that they scheduled him.
It's awful, man. That's freaking horrible. So you got free and out. So this has been, you got out the night we got pardoned. It was January 20th. I got out at 1 a.m. as well.
It was like this 21st. Technically.
well, I got actually, my paperwork went through 11:43 the night of the pardon.
Okay.
They wanted us all to walk out together. So there was 12 of us getting processed.
It took a minute.
It's like,
It's
it's too late.
amazing.
Great.
Very.
I could hear her screaming in the park. I called her from a cell phone to tell her that I'm coming out. She's in the park.
With all his family.
That's your girl out there screaming.
That's freaking funny. That's awesome. That's a good feeling though.
So many videos.
Yeah, that place was like,
pretty.
place was surreal. Everybody was happy for it.
That's when I left, when I was leaving out, they were kind of word, they respected Trump for doing it too.
Yeah.
Well, so I kind of want to shift gears. I started staying in the Gap in prison. It started because we had been denied visits for 2 years in the DC jail. Never have I been to a jail that didn't let you visit your family ever. They used COVID protocols as the guys to do that. No religious services, no haircuts for a year, no fingernail clippers for a year. So Congressman Troy Nehls came to visit us in the DC jail, and Sarah McAbee had already been in touch with his staff to tell him, because we had been complaining about what they were doing to us in there. They were beating the crap out of people, hauling them to the shoe, disappearing people for months at a time. And so he came in and he already knew what questions asked. They brought the executive director from the DC DOC in there with him and his staff. And Troy Nehls he goes, all right, guys. And they had us all circled up. And he's like, so are y'all getting visits with your families? And we're like, obviously, hell no, this is whatever. And so he looks to the executive director and he goes, are you giving these guys visits? And he's like, no. And he's like, how? You don't have them set up for video visits? These guys are thousands of miles from home. You're not making a way for them to visit their families when that's the integral part of the reintegration. When they do get released and all these things, it's like, we'll get them set up with video visits or whatever. Anyways, it was just one thing after another that he confronted them on because we gave him the information. But so the very next week, we get a memo and it's like, you guys are getting visits. And, if you think about it, the man is typically the breadwinner, not always, but the men have been gone from their families for 2 years. And mama's been at home raising the babies, right? Sometimes had to sell dad's car because we don't need 2 cars. There's extra payment, whatever, maintenance or whatever. And so I'm just thinking there's no way that these people can afford to come visit. First of all, it's on Friday. It's a work day, a school day. It's a 1 hour visit. And typically nobody's really like close. If they were close, you know, I'm from Houston, it's 1,000 miles. I guess it's a 24-hour drive if you wanted to get there. Or you could, you know, fly Uber to the airport, fly, get an Airbnb or hotel, and then fly them home. And that's expensive, you know, especially after they've been for 2 years on there. Like maybe if you just went to jail and you guys have got a little seed money, wouldn't be a big deal. But I know it'd been gone for a while. So we started a thing called Operation Love Wins, where we were requesting donations to a Give Send Go for people, to pay for Ubers, airfare, Airbnbs, and hotels. We found a couple people in the DC area who had Airbnbs. They're like, look, you guys can use them whenever. Just let us know who's coming and what days we need to block out our Airbnb, and we'll make sure that they have access to it. No charge to you guys.
Wow.
So they were doing that, and then. But through that, we reunited 75 different families. Like I remember sitting in there and Billy Cressman. I don't know if you met him.
We love it.
I watched his I'm sitting like, Billy's like right there and I'm right here. And the door opens over there and it's the visitors coming in. And his little girl goes, Daddy. And she like runs. When she goes to the door, I was just like, damn, I got to help do that. You know what I mean? So she like jumps in his arms and he got yelled at probably.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I know from the man upstairs, that's what that's what we're here to do, is to help people. And I knew this situation was like that. So that's what was started Stand in the Gap. Like we realized that there were needs that these men and women have. So I came up with the idea for it while I was in jail.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then Sarah McAbee implemented it on the outside and formed the nonprofit. We started the Real J, which is sell t-shirts and stuff on there. You go to realj6.com, they're all on there, but we haven't done anything on that in a while. But the foundation, moving forward, we kind of thought my mission was, because like I said, I've got a criminal record. I wanted to go back and do justice reform. I wanted to try and go, especially seeing how these federal prisons are running.
Yeah.
Like the gangs run it and the officers of their own gang, like all this is crazy, drug infested.
The bars.
There's got 10 years of moldy bathroom.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. And then, so I wanted to go back and try to fix this.
I'm happy. We love you, Shane. Thank you for everything. And thank you for standing the gap.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Thank you
It's
for
my
standing the
honor.
gap.
I'm going to turn this camera off.
All right.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, with Shane Jenkins going deep for some gold.
Hopefully not. I don't want to have to use this to dig up our own gold, but fortunately we do have a place called soundmoney.info/Stand in the Gap, and you can help us at Stand in the Gap and all the J6ers accumulate some wealth for their families and their future.
There is a better way.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
Who brought the television? Can we laugh at that? Sounds like me.
As of this month, public gay sex will now be mandatory.
Pardons. Am I the only one that can see his lips move?
Cheekbones, baby.
I'm sorry, maybe I overreacted.
If the vote count is accurate, then how come the number of voters is different? And if it's not accurate, then why was it certified? We are suing Letitia James and the New York State Board of Elections for a conspiracy against fundamental rights. This is not about who won. It's not about what party. It's about the fact that they don't care about your rights.
It's me, Joe the Box. And I'm John the Blanket with the America First podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
I didn't know that. I thought, we're pardoned, we're free. Everybody's kind of it's going to kind of just go back to normal. Like everybody's going to get their life back, whatever. That's not at all what happened, right? It was
opposite.
People don't realize that, there's still 12 people who haven't been pardoned, and they're not able, the ones that are military veterans are unable to get their VA benefits, as their children aren't able to get them either. And then you got like Joe Hackett, who's a chiropractor by trade, who is unable to practice his career because he was commuted and not pardoned. So he has a felony on his record. So he can't be a chiropractor as a felon. So those 12 people are unable to get benefits, or really they're felons now, even though a lot of them are military, never been in trouble before. So that, and then I didn't realize the amount of like emotional and mental trauma that like we had endured and the families have endured through, like PTSD, solitary confinement stuff. I'd never really done any extended solitary confinement time like I did during this whole ordeal, but that left scars on people. And then not to mention people, think you got pardoned and your criminal record is cleared as far as Jan 6 goes. Well, that's not true. When they run to do a background check, it pulls up all your January 6 charges, and in fine print below it, it says pardoned by the President of the United States. So if you go to apply at Walmart or Starbucks or whatever, HR is going to get that. Yeah, or it may just be violence, or it might be political. They're like, well, each one of those, an A6er, so they might use bias against you. So it hasn't been easy for people to put their lives back together, but that's when we realized, like, hey, we have an opportunity to stand in the gap for these people where there's a gap in their finances or whatever it is. Like, how can we help people? And I think, we first met at Bart's funeral, then, DC. Yeah, and then DC. But I wanted to talk, I know you guys wanted to kind of share. We've been around a lot. That's freaking, that's good. It's badass when the community steps in. And that's kind of where we're at with standing in the gap. But I know that you guys had been going through a hard time, and that we were able to, if you guys want to talk about that.
I would like to, because he didn't even know I initiated it.
Okay.
No, he wasn't happy.
Okay.
Well, you know what? We're very proud people. We have no problem putting ourselves in debt and getting ourselves out of it. Right. Pete has a small construction business. So, the money's not always flowing, but because of him going away, I thought he was coming home in December.
Okay.
I was on disability. I have a collapsed lung.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I'm at like 40% air. So anyway, I'm on disability, making $900 a month. My brother's my landlord, but he's a partner. She runs all that because it gets a conflict. I like her better than him. Take that out. But, no, Esther and I, we have a good relationship. And when he was in prison, I got a letter in the mail saying I was no longer receiving my SSI. So I went there. I've been on it since 2016 when my lung collapsed during surgery.
Did they take it away?
Because I moved to a P.O. box at a federal prison and didn't tell them.
Because I was there.
They just it's the government. So I said, I am sitting in front of you. If you look this up, it's a men's prison, and it's at Fort Dix, which is a military base, and I'm sitting in front of you. 6 months it took them to rebuild my case. Now Pete's not coming home till 2028, not, this year.
Oh, yeah.
I have an adult daughter with an infant and a 3-year-old, I think, at the time. And she packs up her house with her husband. They move in with me. We live in a duplex, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And they came to help me. But the problem was Richie and Pete ran this little business together. And once the work ran out that Pete had him set up with, nobody wanted him anymore because Pete was like the main guy. And he's the elder. Oh, now I don't have Pete's income. We don't have Richie's income. I'm babysitting the kids so my daughter can make like $18 an hour. So I started charging everything, anything that like, my car insurance, anything that would take a credit card, I would do it. And then, yeah. And my phone and, my brother gave me till January to pay rent. And, I didn't know like that this past year, how far behind we were because of how he had to get reacclimated. And honestly, when Pete first came home, like I asked him not to go back into that 60-hour week. And he really didn't have an option because he still had to like go around and find jobs and, so I was trying to cover for everything. And then one day I just texted my landlord and was like, how much do I actually owe you? And she was like, you haven't given me any rent since June. And I was so upset because then she called my brother because she didn't want us getting involved. I told her about standing the gap and, it's a duplex. They would just run out. It's not like, I don't know. So anyway, and then my car had a ton of problems. I realized that
just pile.
It was getting really bad. His his work van needs a new transmission. So we went down to January 6th for Ashley Babbitt and we were given a free room from Jake and we drove. So we made that work. And I'll never forget, we were at that little mall area before the march and I never knew what Stand in the Gap was. I met Sarah in Miami. I thought she worked for these people. I had no idea that her husband was a J6er. So when I'm hearing her speaking and then I'm hearing you speaking, I'm like, I need help. You know what I mean? Like, where's this gap? Like, so I looked you up and I just was honest and sent you all the proof and doesn't matter how much money we needed and how much was available. Sincerity from you guys. I never felt ashamed or embarrassed. When I was having a hard time getting my landlord to like jump on it, like, look, I'm trying to get paid my rent. And she's like, I don't want anybody involved. I was,
They didn't want to give you like, hey, this is what the rent is, like just a bill.
yeah. So my brother, once she told my brother what I was doing, he was like, what do you need? I'll write it. He's like, just don't tell her. And I told him, you're a nonprofit. You're not trying, the government's not coming in.
We just have to justify where
the money's going.
That's where I'm bored into our people who do money. So you got to have proof.
Yeah. So we were 2 months behind on gas and electric and we were 6 back then. I think it was half of a year plus we just gave them, what you gave us, plus my daughter chipped in because now they're back to work.
Okay.
So you gave us 2 towards rent and my daughter and her boyfriend came up with 2.
Okay.
And then you paid my gas and electric and now we're still catching up with the rent, but.
Well, I didn't pay it. The American people pay it.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a blessing.
Right. But you guys still. Yeah, it was very humbling. It was upsetting because he was like, why didn't you tell me, you don't make these decisions. And I said, Pete, you were going for almost a year. How do you think I was getting by? By crying to people, not for money, everything. I mean, Trennis Evans, and David Summerall, Suzanne Monk, these are very busy people that would stop in the middle of their day and answer the phone. And one time I called Trennis, he was in Marjorie Taylor Greene's office. Like, they were out there fighting real demons, and I'm out here like,
I get through life. I mean, their fight was different than your fight, but.
So the community is amazing. So once I found out about you guys in DC, I went online and I filled it out and I was like, just roll the dice and we are blessed.
Well, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that you applied. I don't know how I feel about. I mean, I know you probably like, we're not doing that. We ain't doing it. We don't know. We're not doing it. But I'm glad that, it's our honor. It's like, it's a privilege for me. Like God allows me to do this. Make sure there was a lot of people doing stuff that was questionable with the money that they were getting at. It was not transparent. They weren't being good stewards. And that was kind of, we wanted to just get in there and stand in the gap. I know it's cliche and it's a biblical scripture, but it talks about God saw someone in the land to stand in the gap for these people. And he said he found no one. And I want to there's somebody that can be there to fight for somebody else who's having a hard time. It's not an ego thing. It's not a pride thing. It's because I know what you went through. I can relate to what you went through. I've never been, the person at home. I'm always the one doing time. I'm always you in the picture. You know what I mean? So, but it's our honor and privilege to serve this community and to serve people like you and to help where we can help. And, I know couldn't take care of everything, but again, you know, the American
But the
people.
grace you guys showed, and I've never felt ashamed or, you know what I mean? And that meant a lot to me because I felt like so embarrassed because everybody sees you and thinks you got it all together. And, you know,
We're just barely holding on.
we're there. And our marriage has suffered deeply because it's, you know, we love each other so much, but we've lost so much. And
It's finances.
And now we still have 6 people living in a tiny house. So, but you know what? Our grandkids being there is like comic relief 24/7.
Like
and
you just forget the day and just pick the little one up. Like,
yeah. And once they want to sit on your lap and watch puppies on your phone or it's just like, you know what? Well, that's what I tell him. We've gotten through so much. We lost 3 parents within the first 5 years we were together. So, and we were newly sober. You know, I had 2 years sober and my dad just dropped dead. He was my best friend. So, and then his mom had a quick bout with cancer. She died on her 1-year wedding anniversary. So, and his dad was gone another 1.5 years later. I was like, I was angry with God. And then he goes to a fucking rally and now he's going to prison. I was like, yeah, like, and I'm like, I'm going to church and trying to be a good person. And we are good people. But now, but you do know in the Bible who God is seeking out. Oh, no. And
They were actually watching the shows. I'm
Okay.
really seeing.
You went to murderers, tax collectors, prostitutes. It wasn't just like, oh, you've lived a perfect life. Come on in.
It makes sense. You know, I used to always hear that, like, you know, religion is for people that are scared to go to hell, and spirituality is for people who have been there. This is the difference.
Yeah.
It talks about, I know I'm going to mess this up, but it talks about, you know, people who, you know, if somebody forgives a little debt, it's not a big deal, but somebody who has a big debt, which the debt is the sin life that we've lived, right? We've lived that hellish life, like that hell on earth, like destroying ourselves, destroying relationships around us, families, whatever we got going on. Time away in prison, we're getting into that whole prison scene. When you really receive grace, like it just, I don't think people that haven't lived the life that we lived understand how amazing and important it is to be forgiven and to be chosen and to be seen and to be like, you know, that's what God called me son. And I was like, man.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
It's me, Joe the Box, down at the border getting some gold with Shane Jenkins.
No, Joe, we're going to avoid Montezuma's revenge, and we're just going to go to soundmoney.info/Stand in the Gap, and you can help Stand in the Gap and help January 6 people.
See you there.
See you there.
At the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
Are you a true American? Then it's time to get connected. Download the America First Media and Television app and stay up to date with real news, bold voices, and live events from the America First Warehouse. From national broadcasts and exclusive shows to comedy nights, concerts, and special events. It's all right at your fingertips. No filters, no spin, just America First. Download the America First Media and Television app today and be part of the movement.
I'm sure you guys remember the platinum single Justice for All with Donald Trump and the J6 Prison Choir. We'll get ready for round 2. We're coming out with Anthem of the Free with High Res and the J6 Prison Choir. It's coming out now. It's pre-sale until December 19th when it drops. Get yours on all platforms, Google Play, Apple iTunes, Get it. It's going to be hot.
Justice for all, our voices ring. The anthem of the free.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed, because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
Gas and electric.
Okay.
And we were 6 back then. I think it was half of a year, plus we just gave them what you gave us, plus my daughter chipped in because now they're back to work.
Okay.
So you gave us 2 towards rent, and my daughter and her boyfriend came up with 2.
Okay.
And then you paid my gas and electric, and now we're still catching up with the rent, but
Well, I didn't pay it. The American people paid it.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a blessing.
Right,
We're
but you guys started
We're just the
it.
basket that catches it.
Yeah.
We're
You're the
still
basket of
facilitated for us.
horribles.
I mean, like,
Yeah, it was very humbling. It was upsetting because he was like, why didn't you tell me? You know, you don't make these decisions. And I said, Pete, you were going for almost a year. How do you think I was getting by?
Right.
By crying to people, not for money, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, Trennis Evans, you know, and David Summerall, Suzanne Monk, these are very busy people that would stop in the middle of their day and answer the phone. I mean, one time I called Trennis, he was in Marjorie Taylor Greene's office.
Yeah.
Like, they were out there fighting real demons, and I'm out here like,
We're
you
trying
know.
to get through life. I mean, their fight was different than your fight. But
Yeah,
it's
but they were
still a
so,
fight.
the
Yeah.
community is amazing. So once I found out about you guys in DC, I went online and I filled it out, and I was like, just roll the dice, and we are blessed.
Well, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that you applied. I don't know how I feel about. I mean, I know he probably was like, "We're not doing that. We ain't doing it. We don't know. We're not doing it." But I'm glad that it's our honor. It's like it's a privilege for me. Like God allows me to do this for to make sure. There was a lot of people doing stuff that was questionable with the money that they were getting, and it was not transparent. They weren't being good stewards, and that was kind of, we wanted to just get in there and stand in the gap. I know it's cliche and it's a biblical scripture, but it talks about God sought someone in the land to stand in the gap for these people, and he said he found no one. And I want to do it. If there's somebody that can be there to fight for somebody else who's having a hard time, I want to be able to do that. It's not an ego thing. It's not a pride thing. It's because I know what you went through. I can relate to what you went through. I've never been, the person at home. I'm always the one doing time. I'm always you in the picture. You know what I mean? And so, but it's our honor and privilege to serve this community and to serve people like you and to help where we can help. And I know we couldn't take care of everything, but again, the American people.
But the grace you guys showed, and I've never felt ashamed or, you know what I mean? And that meant a lot to me because I felt like so embarrassed because everybody sees you and thinks you got it all together, and
we're just barely holding on.
We're and our marriage has suffered deeply because we love each other so much, but we've lost so much, and
it's a strain. It's finances is a huge
finances, and now we still have 6 people living in a tiny house. So, but you know what? Our grandkids being there is like comic relief. 24/7.
Like you just forget the day and just pick the little one up. Like,
and once they want to sit on your lap and watch puppies on your phone, or it's just like, you know what? Well, that's what I tell him. We've gotten through so much. We lost 3 parents within the first 5 years we were together. So, and we were newly sober.
Right.
I had 2 years sober, and my dad just dropped dead. He was my best friend. So, and then his mom had a quick bout with cancer. She died on her 1-year wedding anniversary. So, and his dad was gone another 1.5 years later. And it was like I was angry with God, and then he goes to a fucking rally, and now he's going to prison. I was like,
what are we doing?
Why?
What are you doing?
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm just going to church and trying to be a good person, and we are good people.
Right. Yeah.
But but you do know in the Bible who God is seeking out, and it's a bunch of losers.
Yeah, it wasn't the people that had it all figured out. That's for sure.
No, and
They were actually watching the shows, and I'm
Okay.
really seeing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You went to murderers, tax collectors, prostitutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
just like, it
Yeah.
was like, oh, you're
but it makes
living the
sense,
perfect
you know?
life. Come on in.
It makes sense. You know, I always hear that, like, religion is for people that are scared to go to hell, and spirituality is for people who have been there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, this is the difference. You know what I mean? Like,
It talks about, and I'm going to mess this up, but it talks about, people who, if somebody forgives a little debt, it's not a big deal, but somebody who has a big debt, which when the debt is the sin life that we've lived, right? When we've lived that hellish life, like that hell on earth, like destroying ourselves, destroying relationships around us, families, whatever we got going on, time away in prison, getting into that whole prison scene, when you really receive grace, like I don't think people that haven't lived the life that we've lived understand how amazing and important it is to be forgiven and to be chosen and to be seen and to be like, that's what God called me son. And I was like, man, I've been waiting my whole life to hear that, for somebody to be proud of me enough to call me their son. And it just was like, ugh. And so when you receive that grace and that redemption, and like, it means so much more.
And Shane, look, this is what really brought me close to the Lord. Like I said, I grew up Catholic, and I was baptized when he was in prison the day before he was getting sentenced to 5 years.
Oh, man.
And 9 months, I was crushed. They gave him 5 years, and people thought like I was going to go do something crazy because I really was filled with the Holy Spirit. But there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. So close that he should be dead. They didn't steal another election, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do the very first day. And if you don't believe in the Lord and you don't believe in miracles, then I don't
think if that bullet would have been an inch to the one side or the other.
I was watching that rally.
That would have been. There goes.
He
Not
called
that the
me.
pardons are the end of the
Yeah.
But
it's over.
still, we'd still be in prison. Or,
It's
whatever.
over. Yeah, because if JD won, these weren't there supporting him that day. You know what I mean? Like, I like the man, but he was.
He also didn't want to pardon him.
Yeah,
So it's like,
exactly.
we would not have gotten out.
It would have been easy to push that aside.
But that was an amazing miracle, and
the millimeter miracle.
Yeah,
God's got his hand on our
God
lives.
was not going to let you guys.
We just went to see Melania recently.
Okay, the movie.
So that covers the 3 weeks leading up to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
So you feel like you're.
Were they filming it whenever it happened, or was it?
Yeah, I really felt like watching, because I was in the day room in Fort Dix watching some of these things occur. You know what I mean? Like, and I remember the anticipation. And then to see him go back to the White House to sign it, and and then when they finally got home at night, and thinking that they were getting home and I was too. I was, they were getting home at 2 and I was getting out.
Okay,
Yeah, because they didn't talk about it all, but we were just doing the timing. Like,
I didn't think about that.
It was just so
it was a long night for them too.
And then another thing that hit me was I was telling because just reliving it, after seeing that was when we got down to R&D, Biden's picture was already off the wall, and so was the BOP, the chick that was running the BOP. She was
off the wall too.
So great. Trump is savage.
That didn't take no time.
That's good. No, that is interesting, and I think, man, I sit here and I think about the night of the election. I'll remember, because the election didn't end until 2:30 in the morning, but. I had a hole in my cell door. I had a hole in my cell door, and the TV, the white TV, was literally right there on the wall.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching the election, and they're I'm hearing them coming. The states are coming in. And I think it was and we're calling Pennsylvania for Donald Trump, and that means he's the next president of the United States. And everybody there was like, J6, you're going home. And I was like, and I remember I was just standing in my doorway, I'm doing my happy dance. Just tears just pouring down my face, and it just was holy crap, it's gonna happen. And then sure enough, a couple months later, he pardoned us and let us out, and I just was like, good God.
It took me, I didn't sleep for like 36 hours after I got out. I couldn't wrap my mind around it that I was out. Like I was just blown away. Like I got to go, I was supposed to fly home. I was in Terre Haute, which is just right close to Indianapolis. And I was supposed to fly home to Houston, but a snowstorm hit Houston, weird enough, which never happens. So they had the airport shut down. So my kids are all in DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth. So I flew to Dallas-Fort Worth. My oldest son picked me up at the airport, and I got to go see all my kids and my brother. And then a few days later, I went home to Houston. But I mean, just a phenomenal, like insane turnover. And then to have this last year, whether it was seeing everybody at Bart's funeral or walking with Bart, you know, to the gates of heaven, like that was very difficult for me emotionally and mentally. And then the J6 reunion was good, and then the Miami thing was cool, and now we've got a relationship with Real America's Voice. We're here at the America First Warehouse. Like,
it's amazing.
It has been like a whirlwind year, and
he's his happiest when he's with other J6ers.
It is. I feel like a little piece of my heart is healed. Yeah,
and you feel understood. Because like even my mom, she loves him so much, and me, but she'll say, "I don't like. Why aren't you just getting over it?
Right. Yeah.
Like it's over. He's home." And I'm like, because our own government turned their backs on us.
Yeah. There is something to it. I don't know what it is. I felt like I lost him. Like Rob likes to talk about the hero journey. Have you heard him talk about it? He always talks about like in Africa, the kid has to go out into the wilderness and kill a male lion and bring the skin back, right? It's like a part of the journey from boyhood to manhood, or he's got to go down to Hades and get the golden fleece, or it's like the hero deal where the hero has to go through it. And I just feel like along this journey, like something was taken from me. Like I lost, like I forgot who I am, and I haven't got it back yet. And like I was talking to Don Newen from Cowboy Logic, and he was like, Shane, he goes, I think you forgot who you are. Like I think you forgot like everything that God has brought you through, and I'm starting to believe that maybe he's right. I don't know why I'm not. I'm very introspective. I like to, why do you feel that way? Well, what makes you have those thoughts? Or what's, why did you drink so much yesterday? Whatever it was, right? Like, what I'm struggling with. And I'm like, and I just haven't been able to put my finger on, like, why can't I move past this? So.
Well, part of it might be that you're shedding that skin and you're getting renewed, and that's what I'm praying for both of you and myself, because I don't think any of us can go.
For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free in the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be. America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of hope, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free in the America First Warehouse.